Hey everyone, today's Wild West story is full of danger, passion, and unexpected twists. Imagine being stranded on a cold, lonely night, and the only person who can save you changes your life forever. By the end of this tale, nothing will ever be the same, and these moments will stay with you. So get ready and let's jump straight into the story. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. The sun dipped low behind the distant mesas, casting long, fiery shadows across the plains. The wind swept across the tall, dry grass, carrying the faint scent of sage and dust, whispering of secrets hidden in the land. The rancher rode steadily along the narrow trail leading to his homestead, his horses' hooves crunching against the parched earth. He had spent the day tending to the cattle, repairing fences, and fighting against the relentless demands of the land. His face was sun-beaten, hands roughened by years of work, yet his eyes remained sharp, scanning the horizon for anything out of place. The cabin came into view, smoke curling lazily from its chimney, promising warmth against the chilling evening air. As he approached, he noticed movement near the doorway, a shadow shifting uneasily in the firelight. His heart tightened at the sight of a lone figure, a woman, disheveled and exhausted, standing with a quiet yet intense presence. She was an Apache woman, her dark hair tangled from travel, and her eyes reflected both fear and defiance. Something about her stirred a protective instinct in him, a rare softness in a life hardened by solitude and harsh terrain. She stepped forward as he dismounted, her gaze steady despite evident weariness. "Rancher," she said, her voice calm but urgent, "I have nowhere to go tonight. The wind is fierce, and I cannot survive the cold alone." The rancher hesitated, instinct and caution warring with the empathy she evoked. She had the presence of someone who had endured countless hardships, someone who refused to be weak despite circumstance. He felt the weight of the moment, knowing his decision would define the night. With a slow nod, he spoke, "You can stay. There is a bed and a fire. You'll be safe here." Relief flickered across her features, subtle but unmistakable, as she entered the cabin. She moved carefully, shedding the dust and fatigue of her journey. The fire crackled, casting warm light that softened the harsh edges of the cabin. He watched her, noting the strength in her posture, the alertness in her eyes despite exhaustion. There was something unspoken between them, a fragile tension, as though the universe itself had conspired to place them together at this precise moment. Words were unnecessary, for the silence spoke volumes, thick with expectation and mutual curiosity. She approached the fire, drawing closer to the warmth as the chill crept in. He could feel the electricity of proximity, a magnetic pull that defied logic and reason. Hours passed, the world outside fading into darkness, while inside the cabin, two lives cautiously intertwined. She spoke sparingly, revealing fragments of her journey, moments of hardship, and glimpses of her life before she became lost. The rancher listened, drawn to her resilience, her grace under duress, and the quiet power she carried without demanding recognition. Night deepened, and shadows danced across the walls, flickering with the rhythm of the fire. He could not ignore the growing connection between them, a bond forged in circumstance, yet fueled by unspoken understanding. She turned toward him, her eyes reflecting the dancing flames, and said, "Rancher, you have shown me kindness when none was available, but I am here not just for shelter. I am here for what may come after." Her words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable, shaping the next course of their night. The weight of her confession pressed upon him, mixing apprehension with anticipation. Life on the ranch had taught him caution, yet her presence demanded something different, a surrender to possibility. She stepped closer, her proximity igniting a warmth in his chest that went beyond the fire's glow. "You mean," he began, but she nodded, confirming what his heart already sensed. "Yes, I am ready. You have let me sleep in your bed, and now we prepare for the life we will share. We will have children, and our bond will grow beyond the fleeting night." The rancher's mind raced, yet settled into a calm acceptance. Loneliness had been his constant companion, but now a vision of family, of shared purpose, took root. They spoke in whispers, exchanging fragments of their pasts, hopes, and fears. She told him of her tribe, the traditions that shaped her, and the lessons she had learned surviving harsh lands. He spoke of life on the ranch, the solitude, the struggle, and the rare moments of triumph. In these whispered exchanges, trust solidified into something unbreakable. Morning light filtered through the cabin windows, soft and golden, illuminating a bond that had solidified overnight. They had crossed boundaries of trust, forming a connection that would carry them through uncertainty and hardship alike. The rancher understood that she was more than a visitor. She was a partner, an ally, and a presence that would transform his solitary life into one rich with purpose. Together, they faced the dawn with a quiet determination, aware that their journey was only beginning. Days followed, blending routine with intimacy. The Apache woman integrated seamlessly into ranch life, helping with chores, tending the livestock, and mending fences alongside the rancher. Laughter returned to the cabin, filling spaces that had long been silent. Shared labor and quiet companionship strengthened their bond. He watched her with awe as she demonstrated intelligence, resourcefulness, and strength. The bond between them was no longer fragile. It had grown into a partnership of equals, a union built on respect, trust, and the quiet acknowledgement of their shared destiny. One evening, the rancher found her standing on the hill outside the cabin, gazing at the horizon. The sky blazed with violet and orange, a reflection of the untamed land around them. She turned to him, her eyes reflecting both determination and tenderness. "Rancher, our life together is just beginning. Soon, we will bring new life into this world, a child that will carry both our spirits and the strength of the plains." Her words were resolute, carrying a promise that would shape the coming months, and he met her gaze with unwavering commitment. He took her hand in his, feeling the warmth and solidity of her touch. "I will protect you and our child," he said, voice firm with certainty. "This land, this life, and our family, nothing will harm us. Together we will face whatever comes our way." The plains stretched endlessly around them, wild and unyielding, yet within the confines of the ranch and the circle of their growing family. There was a sanctuary, a home born from trust, courage, and love. The days grew warmer, and the plains shimmered under the relentless sun, yet the rancher and the Apache woman moved through the work with a harmony that seemed almost preordained. Each morning began with the scent of leather and hay, the rhythm of feeding cattle, and the steadying cadence of their combined efforts. She moved with grace and efficiency, her every action infused with quiet strength, and he watched, captivated by her ability to transform the mundane into something meaningful. Their bond deepened with each task, each shared glance, and every wordless understanding exchanged over fences and fields. The weeks passed, marked by subtle changes in her presence. There was a new softness in her step, a gentleness to her movements, as the anticipation of the child they would soon welcome grew. The rancher felt it in the way she smiled, in the small gestures of care, in the quiet moments when she rested her hand on her abdomen, feeling life stir within her. He, in turn, became attuned to her needs, anticipating her comfort before she spoke, offering support in silence, and ensuring that every corner of the ranch felt like a sanctuary for them both. Evenings were spent near the fire, the cabin filled with the glow of flames and the muted hum of crickets outside. They would talk late into the night, recounting tales of the past and dreams of the future. She shared stories of her childhood among the Apache, of the traditions and teachings that had shaped her. He shared memories of the land, the solitude of ranch life, and the challenges that had forged him into the man she now leaned upon. In these moments, the world beyond the cabin ceased to exist, leaving only their intertwined lives and the quiet certainty that they were creating something lasting. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low and the shadows stretched across the fields, the rancher noticed her standing at the edge of the pasture, her gaze fixed on the horizon. He approached, sensing the mixture of resolve and vulnerability in her posture. "What is it?" he asked gently. She turned to him, eyes filled with determination, yet softened by trust. "Soon," she said, voice steady, "our child will come and we must be ready. This land, this home, our family. Everything must be prepared to welcome new life." He nodded, understanding the gravity of her words, and together they began arranging the cabin, preparing the spaces where the child would sleep, and ensuring that every aspect of their life was ready for this momentous arrival. Time continued its steady march, and soon the day came when her labor began. The rancher was at her side, unwavering, offering strength where pain threatened to overwhelm, whispering encouragements as the firelight flickered across their determined faces. The night was long, each hour a testament to endurance, courage, and the unbreakable bond between them. Outside, the plains remained quiet, the wind carrying the distant howl of coyotes, Yet inside the cabin, life and love battled against every struggle, shaping the dawn into something extraordinary. Finally, with the first light spilling through the cabin windows, a cry pierced the morning air. Their child had arrived, tiny and perfect, a new life that embodied the strength, resilience, and love of both parents. The rancher held the infant gently, feeling a depth of emotion he had never known before, while the Apache woman watched, tears of joy streaking her face. "We did it," she whispered, her voice trembling with awe. "Our family, our legacy begins today." In that moment, the hardships of the plains, the loneliness, and the uncertainty all melted away, replaced by a profound sense of purpose and connection. The weeks that followed were filled with the rhythms of parenthood and the enduring challenges of ranch life. Nights were long and demanding, yet every cry, every small milestone of their child strengthened the bond between them. They learned together, discovering patience and resilience, sharing responsibilities seamlessly, their love deepening through acts of care and quiet devotion. The Apache woman's wisdom guided them, her instincts attuned to the land, the child, and the needs of their home, while the rancher's strength ensured safety, comfort, and stability for their growing family. As the months turned into years, the child grew under the watchful eyes of parents devoted not only to survival but to thriving. Lessons of courage, respect, and perseverance were imparted daily, intertwined with stories of the plains, of Apache heritage, and the legacy of ranch life. Together, the family navigated challenges, from harsh winters to sudden storms, yet every trial strengthened their unity. The cabin became a sanctuary, the land a classroom, and the plains a canvas upon which their lives were painted with love, resilience, and hope. The rancher and the Apache woman also grew together, their connection evolving beyond romantic passion into a profound partnership. Shared glances, touches, and unspoken understanding punctuated their days. They worked tirelessly side by side, but each evening brought moments of reflection and quiet gratitude. They would watch the sun sink behind distant hills, hands intertwined, hearts aligned, knowing that the life they had built was more than survival. It was a triumph of trust, love, and unwavering commitment to each other and the child who represented their unity. Over time, whispers from nearby towns told the story of the cowboy and the Apache woman who had defied convention, weathered hardship, and built a life together against the odds. They became a symbol of strength, of love that transcended cultural boundaries, and of hope that even in the harshest landscapes, bonds could flourish. Visitors to the ranch often noted the serenity, the quiet power of family, and the deep respect that defined their lives. Their story became legend, an enduring testament to courage, loyalty, and the extraordinary resilience of human connection. And as each day ended, with twilight painting the plains in rich hues of violet and gold, the family would gather outside the cabin. The rancher, the Apache woman, and their child would stand together, gazing at the horizon, feeling the wind against their faces, and breathing in the vastness of the land that had brought them together. In those moments, they knew they had created something eternal, an unshakable family forged by love, tested by life, and strengthened by the wild, untamed spirit of the plains. Years later, as their child grew into youth, the rancher and the Apache woman would tell stories of that first night, the choices that had brought them together, and the trust that had transformed strangers into a family. Their lives, full of hardship and triumph alike, became a living reminder that love could flourish in the most unexpected places. That sometimes the decision to act with compassion and courage could set in motion a legacy far greater than either could imagine alone. The sun set once more over the rolling plains, casting shadows across the cabin and the fields, and the family stood together, a quiet force of unity and resilience. The rancher looked at the Apache woman, her hair catching the last light, and smiled, knowing that this life, this family, was worth every trial, every struggle, and every choice made with love and courage. The plains whispered around them, but inside, the warmth of family and the certainty of shared destiny created a world stronger than any storm, harsher winter, or lonely night could ever diminish. In the end, the story of the rancher and the Apache woman was more than a tale of survival. It was a story of transformation, of human connection, and of love that could defy the harshest odds. They had found in each other a partner, a lover, and a family, creating a legacy that would endure through generations. Every sunrise, every storm, every quiet evening by the fire reminded them that their bond was eternal, and that in the vast, untamed wild, love could thrive, even against the harshest winds of fate. The plains stretched endlessly before them, but within the cabin, the warmth of family radiated like a beacon, a testament to courage, compassion, and the extraordinary power of trust. Their story would be told for generations, inspiring others to see that even in the wildest landscapes, in the toughest circumstances, hearts that choose love can create a home, a family, and a legacy that lasts far beyond a single lifetime.